Hey there, UTB and CJ Holmes here. Well, finally, we're getting to the next part of the Titanic Wreck Model build, and I'm going to be starting the stern section. The bow still needs a lot of detail work, but we'll get that another time. Let's get going with the stern. So, first things, we need to cut it to length. Now, at the bottom of the ocean, the bow section is about 470 feet long, and the stern section is about 350 feet long. Well, at 1/350th scale, which this model is, we're going to need about 12 inches of the stern section. So from the model that I have, I've cut off about 2 inches of hull. We'll discard that for now, and we'll make that part of the debris field later on. And so now I'm left with a 12-inch section of hull. Now, in building this portion of the diorama, I'm only going to be using from about the propeller wings aft, use the poop deck and the rudder and the propellers. The rest, I think I'm going to scratch build all this hull plating because it's all curved out, it's splayed out, and really a mess. And I think it's going to be easier to just eliminate this and scratch build from here forward. But what I also need to do is come up with a mounting board. What I want to do also is to be able to put the forward and aft sections together to show their relative, how would I say it? Just if you were to put the pieces of the ship together to see what it would look like at the bottom of the ocean. So there's about 150-foot gap between the forward and aft sections. That's all in the debris field. For this model, I'm going to compact the debris field and keep it all generally around in this area. The single-sided boilers, those 5 boilers that are strewn about, it's actually a much more vast area of debris, but for this model, I'm going to compact it, take some artistic license, and just place things around on this end. So that's why the mounting board is a little off-center. So I have the hull like this with a lot more room on this side, because this side is where most of the debris is located. And I'm setting it about a 1/2 inch back, or actually 1 inch back from the edge of the board. So again, so that I can butt these up for comparison purposes. Now, what I need to do, the poop deck, this aft section is buried about 60 feet in the mud, and I'm just going to eliminate this portion of the hull. I'm just going to grind it down. What I also needed to do, this built up, was missing the rudder. So I had another model. I made a resin copy of the rudder. So I've got that, and also the port and starboard, the wing propellers. I was missing those, so from one of my other kits, I made resin copies of those. So now, and then I'm also going to be using the poop deck, and that's actually going to be cut off about in line here. And on the wreck, it's peeled back over itself, but we'll get to that later. What I want to concentrate on today is working on the wing propellers, those long shafts and supports that go on the ship. There's been a lot of confusion. I've had a lot of people confused as to why the wing propellers show right at the edge of the seabed, but the center propeller is not showing. It's missing. Well, I think what likely has happened is when the aft section hit the bottom of the ocean, it just buried from here down. So I believe, my belief is that the center propeller is buried deeply in the mud. And also, on the original ship, you've got your wings here, and the propellers go on those, and see how they're slanted down so that they're basically at the same level as the center propeller. Well, when the ship hit the bottom of the ocean, hit the seabed, let me see if I can find the little illustration I made. Okay, you have those propeller wings that are slanted down. When it hit the bottom of the ocean, it bent those wings upward. And so instead of pointing down, the wings are now pointing up and almost smashed against the side of the ship. Well, an easy way to make that happen on the model is to just reverse the sides. So put the starboard side on the port side and the port side on the starboard side, and you should be good to go there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those, and then I'll be grinding the keel to get it down to size here. So I'm just going to rough this up here, get this paint off in order to glue the wing. Awesome. Also going to sand this. All right, good. So I've got a good surface there. Alrighty, so now I can glue it. See if I have any cement left in this thing. I do. Okay, so you can see that I'm reversing the sides here. And you can see how that's pointing up. You see that in the dark, I don't know. Put some light on this. Awesome. Okay, so now instead of pointing down, it's pointing up. And when it comes time to put the propeller on, it'll go there. Let's do the same thing on the port side. Sand off some of this old glue. All right. And this is going to go here also. And we'll apply some glue. Sloppily, but anyway. It's a wreck, right? So there we go. I'm going to apply some baking soda to reinforce that. Okay. And do the same thing here. This is all going to be buried in the mud. All right, awesome. So now the next thing is to grind this down. You can cut it, whatever you do, use a saw or what. I'm just going to use my bench grinder, my sander, and sand off this portion here. And then I'll install the rudder. Okay. And I'll also be cutting off the edge of it. All right, so I'm going to go over to the sander and make some noise. So I'm going to put you on hold, and we will see you on the other side. If I can get this thing shut off. Awesome. All right, so I've sanded down a lot of the keel. And what I'm going to go ahead and do now is, I think for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this thing off right here. I'm going to discard this part for now, and then we'll start working on the aft section. So I'm going to now run over to the bandsaw and chop this thing in half, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, cool. So I've literally just cut this in half, and this part, toss it for now, and we'll be concentrating on the poop deck. So another thing that I want to do is take my little resin rudder and cut it off right along here. Oh, let's go ahead and do that. Let's find a saw and chop that up. Great. This part, bye. And so now we're like that, and the mud is going to come up, just kind of a little mound of mud that'll go there. So for the time being, let's glue the rudder in place. I'm reaching the end of life of this bottle of super glue. Okay, great. Now, it's my understanding that when the ship approached the iceberg, the command was hard to starboard, which would have moved the ship to port. So it would have been hard to starboard, which would have moved the rudder this way to take the ship around the iceberg, and then, if I'm remembering correctly, there was a hard aport, which would have then brought it around to the starboard side. And I believe that's where the rudder remained. Historians, if you really know the answer to this and say, no, 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 it was in a different position, please let me know, and I'll listen to your advice. But anyway, I have it right now at a hard aport position, which again would have made the ship turn starboard, because back in the day you turned the, it was turn the wheel left to go right. Basically that. All right, great. So this is what I'm going to base the entire stern section on. Just this little piece of ship. I'll probably screw it down, reinforce it. All of this has to come off. It's all bent to the side, but we'll get that at a different time. So this is going to go about here, and then the poop deck is actually peeled back. We're going to want to cut off about right. What I'm doing is I'm going by this here. So actually what I can do is cut it there. I'd go to the bandsaw, but I think I can do this okay like this. Going a little bit aft of that bulkhead there. Okay, let's see if that'll break off. It will indeed. Almost. Great. Cool. Now notice this built-up has the benches in place. Of course, those are long gone, so I'll be grinding those off. But anyway, in the meantime, this is what we're going to be left with. Cool. And I also want to eliminate these support brackets here for the model. So that's about what that is going to look like. So let me go ahead. Do I have a, yeah, I've got a sander on my Dremel tool. Let me get the valve section out of the way. Don't want to hurt anything there. Move it over to the bandsaw, and we'll eliminate this. Okay, here we go. All right, cool. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll put you on pause while I get, I don't know if you can hear me. Sorry for the noise, but anyway, I've got most of this off. I'm going to put this on pause while I grind off this section. See you on the other side. Alrighty then. Okay, I've got those annoying bumps removed, and I think I'm in good enough shape to glue the poop deck onto the hull. My poor bottle of glue is struggling. Getting to that point in its life where it doesn't want to cooperate anymore. Put you on hold here for a bit. Alrighty, I think I've got enough opening now to glue this thing. I'm going to go ahead and glue it here. Goodness, this thing is not working. Put you on pause one more time. Alright, let's try it again. Okay, that's working. Let's put the glue on. Cool. All right, great. Okay, so I think we're going to leave things as they are now. Got a good start on the stern section. We'll be placing it about here on the board, and then for the most part scratch building from this point forward. And we'll also in subsequent videos be working on the reciprocating engines, parts of the engines that I've cast in resin. Here are the 5 single-sided boilers, and there's some of the piping, and anyway, just all the little goodies that make up a reciprocating engine. So I'll throw those back in the bag. And we'll leave it at that. All right, so there you go. We finally started the stern, and hopefully we'll make some good progress. And I really do hope that I'll have another video out this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you have comments, suggestions, criticisms, feel free to send me a message. I try to answer every one. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for your patience. Have a nice day.